Hello and welcome to Effortless Email. This is module number 6, setting up your effortless inbox. In this learning session, we're going to be going over the entire Gmail settings. I'm going to be going through all the different categories, but most importantly, I'm going to be showing you one of the biggest factors in making your email completely effortless and automating a lot of the system and back end, as you might say, that goes into your inbox. One of the things that people constantly told me they wanted to know more about in regards to my coaching and teaching on email and Gmail was custom inbox types. People told me they just didn't know what it was and how to utilize it. There's a lot of different features of Gmail that people wanted to learn more about, but this was definitely one of the top. Specifically, actually, 31% of the audience that we researched and polled said that the number one Gmail feature they wish they knew more about was custom inbox types. And most people, many more people I should say, admitted that they don't even use a custom inbox type. If you're one of those people that's currently using something different, like the important first or the unread first, don't worry. It's really easy to change. And I'm going to show you how valuable it is to use the method that we use in Effortless Email, because you're going to see just how incredible the turnaround is for you. If you're the kind of person that hasn't ever used a custom inbox type, that's great as well, because I'm going to be showing you step by step exactly what you need to do. There's so many benefits to this here, but the main one is automation and making everything extremely effortless. Alrighty, let's get right into it. Here we are in our inbox, just the way we like it, nice and empty, right friendo? And as you can see here, Gmail provides by default what it refers to as these tabs. And these tabs are a great tool for somebody that doesn't know what they're doing. But you know what you're doing, because I'm going to show you exactly what you need to do to have a custom automated effortless inbox. And this is really not for somebody that wants those things. This is for somebody that is willing to allow Gmail to think for them, to place their email into separate categories as it determines is best. And unfortunately, that doesn't work for a person who's receiving many emails on a daily basis, has multiple accounts. That's one person it's definitely not going to work for, because it's very difficult to sift through and find what's important. And the other person it will not work for is someone that just likes to be organized and productive. This one change to your inbox, which I consider to be the biggest change and the biggest secret to this entire system and method, is what's going to allow you to see the most important emails up front and center, only the most important emails, separate completely from all the other junk and all the other unimportant emails. So the first step we're going to take is we're going to go over here and basically create ourselves a new tab. I'm going to show you exactly what needs to be done for each of these action steps, and then just kind of give you some context as I go to explain. So you're going to need to just hit the drop down here for more, or make sure you can see these two options here, and hit create new label. And what this label will be is basically we're going to be developing a priority inbox, and that priority inbox is going to have a section for all of the action items you have to do, things that you can't take care of right away as you're actually processing your email. So you may want to use the @ symbol, because that'll show up at the top of your label list. But just for the sake of simplicity, we can just call this to do or action, and we'll call this one to do. And we'll create the label, and just to confirm, we should see it now here on the left. Great. So we're going to head over here to the gear icon and go down to settings. And we're going to go straight to the third section here, which is inbox. As you can see, as we talked about, the default inbox has these different sections where it tries to sift the email for you into social and promotions and updates. But we're about to take this to the next level. We're going to select priority inbox. And this is a little bit of a tricky part here, so I need you to follow along with the details. Feel free to watch this over again or check the notes if you need to, where this is all laid out. But basically, we want to make sure that this is the section that's selected for number 1 is important. Not important and unread, but important. For number 2, this is even trickier. by default, generally, this section is selected, the in inbox and starred. We need to make sure we click here on more options and click on starred here. And this is more of what's called the starred email section versus the ones that are just in the inbox and starred. The reason for that is because when you archive the message, if you've added a star to it, which is only for long-term emails that you need to refer to over and over again, like a flight itinerary, for example, and you want it front and center in your inbox, which you'll see what it looks like in a second, you need to make sure it's the all starred section. Section 3 here is going to be your new label. So you'll go down to more options and your new label to do, which is your action label. Select that, and section 4 will be everything else as it is. Just to quickly go through the rest of this, the inbox and read count, that's fine. The first initial one there, the first section, which will tell you how many emails you have in your important section, which is really all that matters. The show markers option should definitely be on. We get to that later in the program, and that's how you really start to develop a custom inbox that thinks for you the way you want, not the way Gmail thinks it should be thinking for you. And just go ahead and hit Save Changes. And that's it. You'll now see you have 4 sections: important, all starred, all to do, and everything else. We're going to go back to our settings. And we're going to go over here to our accounts and import. We're going to start to dig into some of this a little bit, because a lot of the setting up of your inbox, you know, the biggest transformation was using the priority inbox. But one of the things that's powerful about Gmail and about effortless email is that when we create this system, we want to create an account that's easy for you to check only 4 times a day and be able to check multiple accounts at the same time. I mean, we're going to drastically reduce the amount of time you spend checking email. So in the past, when you may have been going from one inbox to the next, to the next, to the next, for example, I myself have, I want to say, 7 or 8 Gmail accounts. In addition to those, I have about 4 email accounts through personal domains that receive email on a daily basis. That's a total of 11, let's just call it 10 email accounts per day. I have almost all of them being filtered through one email inbox. I mean, that's extremely powerful, because my sessions for checking email have come down to only those 4 times per day, and usually only 3, because my 4th is a bonus mobile session, remember? So 3 times per day I'm checking email, and I'm checking them all at once. And then that's it. Close email and move forward. Now, one of the great features that I'm going to show you, and part of effortless email, is the ability to send mail as another email address. Well, when would this be useful, Arman? Let me give you an example. You have your work or personal email account. You're in your work or personal email account, but you also have a couple other accounts. And from time to time, you want to send an email from that address to a person, to a service. Perhaps the person that already emailed you is emailing you at that address, and you want to be able to respond to them from that address as well. Perhaps someone emailed you at your personal email, but you want them to going forward, you want them to email you at your work email, because this is a work career type issue. So instead of responding from your @Gmail account, you can respond from a different @Gmail account, or any personal domain name email, or any other web service email that you choose. So let's dig in. How do we do that? Those are the reasons why, but let me show you exactly how we do that. So here where it says send mail as, you're going to say, yes, I would like to add another email address I own. And you're going to put your name the way you'd like it to appear. And in this case, I'm going to show you how to actually do this. So I, for example, have an email at about.me. Okay? I'm going to put that email, Arman at about.me, and we're going to make sure, this is so important again, that it is not marked treat as an alias. Okay, uncheck that right here where it says treat as an alias. We're going to uncheck that. Okay, next step, we're going to set this up through Gmail. And what just happened is it says before I can send an email as Arman at about.me, we need to verify I own this email address. So I'm going to go to that email. I'm going to go to the verification email, okay, after I hit send verification here, and then there will be instructions there for me to handle. And that's it. Now I'm going to go back because I want to show you something critical. If this was, for example, an email that was something like this, Arman at myeffortlessemail.com. So that's a personal domain, right? We can call that a work account, personal domain. It's not through any other service. But I want to be able to send email through that service. The information for this, the best way to set this up so that it's not through Gmail, but so you can do that, okay? But so that it's through the servers that we're already hosting that website with. And your server, your hosting service will have this information for you. So you're going to say send through myeffortlessemail.com SMTP servers. All this information right here, your server name, your username, your password, and which port to use are inside of your hosting information. So that is how you set up an email from your personal domain that is being hosted through your domain name registrar or through whatever hosting service you have for that email, for that domain name address, okay? So that information is available to you through them. Enter it here, hit add account, and you're done. And that is it for sending mail as. Once that happens, I can then go into Compose, and there will be the ability to send email from a different account or respond to an email from a different account, okay? So the next thing we're going to be discussing is checking mail from another Pop3 accounts. Again, it's important to be able to receive your emails in one inbox. I just showed you how to send emails in from this inbox, but in order to be able to to receive emails in this inbox, it needs to be Pop3 because Gmail has the ability to check mail from other accounts that are Pop3, and we would simply say that we want Gmail to add that Pop3 account. And whether this is a work email or an email address from a personal domain, we're going to go ahead and do the same thing. So let's just say my email is Arman at myeffortlessemail.com. And we're going to go the next steps. And again, we're going to enter this information from our specific website hosting details. Okay? So to be a little bit more specific, let's say you purchased your domain name, My Effortless Email, from Namecheap.com or from GoDaddy or any of the other domain name services, domain name registrar services out there, okay? If you host your website, they will have that information for you. So for a website to be running, it needs hosting, right? Unless you're doing a self-hosted thing, which is not going to be a personal domain name like this. So if you want to have an email address like this, you need to register it through GoDaddy or Namecheap. I highly recommend Namecheap.com. You're then going to register for hosting, which is basically a way for your website to have a hard drive or a storage file online. Think of it as your file cabinet for your website where everything is stored, from the images on the website to the emails, so on and so forth. So that can be done through a variety of different hosting providers. My favorites are HostGator and Bluehost. Okay, so check those out. Really simple, easy to use service. And once you have hosting, you can have your own domain name email. You would then enter in the information from that hosting company service for this website right here: username, password, pop server name, and port. One of the things that is critical is if we're going to have multiple email addresses all flowing into this one inbox, and we're also using the @gmail.com email address, we want to make sure that we label the incoming messages. Okay, you can do the default so that it labels them with the incoming email address, and then you know exactly who it's from. In our previous module, I showed you that if you set up the Google account, the Gmail account, just for the sake of being able to do this, to use your own domain name email, that's fine as well. And you may not then need to label the incoming messages because you're already assuming that they're coming from that email. Otherwise, mark them, label them, and move forward and hit add account. And that is it for checking mail from Pop3 Accounts. Super simple. Gmail has a lot of great literature on it, but I'm simplifying it here for you. So here's another thing that I want to dig into and is extremely, extremely helpful for automating forwarding of emails, especially if you're using other services to enhance your productivity. I'm going to make an example of something that I do that I highly recommend that you implement as well. So for forwarding, basically what this is doing is saying, I can enter in an email address here, and Gmail will automatically forward emails for me. Simple as that, okay? So when would you want to do that? Why would you want to do that? Here's an example. If you use Evernote, which I recommend you do, it's an incredible service. I absolutely think it's invaluable for organization. It's helped me in so many different ways. You see, your email is a temporary storage place. And with email, you can only do so much, even with Gmail. With Evernote, I can take ideas on my mind, I can add them to Evernote, I can forward bills, receipts, tax-deductible donations. All that stuff can go directly to Evernote and be organized there for me. For me to want to try to do that with labels here is too overwhelming. And so utilizing another service like Evernote without going overboard and signing up for every single productivity service out there, this is a way to really take advantage of the combination of Evernote and Gmail. And one of my favorite ways for the two services to work together. So when you tell it to forward specifically to your Evernote email, which can be found in your Evernote preferences, it says you can, there's a tip here. It says that you can also forward only some of your mail by creating a filter. Interesting. So why would we do that? Allow me to explain. Let's say certain emails that you're automatically receiving need to be sent to Evernote. Well, if we create a filter, we can automatically make it so that emails from AT&T, that bill you're getting every single month, it has the word AT&T in the subject, or perhaps you know the exact address it's being sent from. You can type it in here, customer support, whatever it is, at AT&T.com. Those emails will automatically be filtered. Okay? And what will happen is it'll automatically forward those emails to your Evernote email address. That is just one example that is so awesome. And you save so much time. I mean, think about how much time you're saving. I then receive the email. It's filtered. It goes directly to my bills and receipts label within my Gmail. And then I just took out another step because I don't have to forward it directly to my Evernote where I keep my tax-deductible donations, my business expenses, cell phone bill, all those items that can be deducted at the end of the year. Or maybe I just have certain emails that I get that I want to save because it's a project I'm working on. Or I'm currently in school and I want to save any email coming to me from my professor. Or I'm working with a client and I want all the emails from that client to automatically be forwarded. The possibilities are endless. So that's just an example, okay? So in closing, there is one final feature I'd like to discuss that some people have implemented, and this is critical to making sure that your inbox is set up according to the effortless inbox setup so that nothing gets tangled and you're not implementing too many odd things so that things are not necessarily working together the way that the synergy of this system has created already for you. There's a lab out there, and labs, if you're not already familiar, is this over here, this little tab. There's a lab out there that Gmail has created called multiple inboxes. If you're currently using multiple inboxes, immediately switch that off and use priority inbox. With priority inbox, there is no need to utilize multiple inboxes. Multiple inboxes are unnecessary. They complicate the look of your inbox, and this system definitely will become complicated by that. And overall, it's just confusing for many, many users. It's something that Gmail created to enhance productivity and give people the ability to create multiple inboxes within one inbox. But using this system and using the priority inbox, you have everything you need to be successful. So stay away from multiple inboxes, and that's our final say on that. Thank you so much. This was a really fun one. I'm really looking forward to the next one. Again, put this stuff to action. In summary, you have learned everything you need to do to set your email inbox up. You now have a very solid foundation to your effortless inbox using priority inbox. You have 4 sections, okay? Important, start, your action, and everything else. You now know how to send mail from another email account within Gmail. You know how to receive email from other email accounts, and you now know how to automatically forward. So with that, that's plenty to work on. Get started, and I will see you guys next time. Thank you. Take care.